Alachua, Punja, pearls, and gold. When they went into the forest, they further decorated themselves with fruits, green leaves, bunches of flowers, peacock feathers, and soft minerals. All the cowherd boys used to steal one another's lunch bags. When a boy came to understand that his bag had been taken away, the other boys would throw it further to a more distant place, and those standing there would throw it still further. When the proprietor of the bag became disappointed, the other boys would laugh, and the proprietor would cry, and then the bag would be returned. All the boys would be differently engaged. Some boys blew their flutes, and others blew bugles made of horn. Some imitated the buzzing of the bumblebees, and others imitated the voice of the cuckoo. Some boys imitated flying birds by running after the birds, shadows on the ground. Some imitated the beautiful movements and attractive postures of the swans. Some sat down with ducks, sitting silently, and others imitated the dancing of the peacocks. Some boys attracted young monkeys in the trees. Some jumped into the trees imitating the monkeys. Some made faces as monkeys were accustomed to do, and others jumped from one branch to another. Some boys went to the waterfalls and crossed over the river, jumping with the frogs, and when they saw that their own reflection in the water, they would laugh. They would also condemn the sounds of their own echoes. In this way, all the cowherd boys used to play with Krishna and Balaram, who are the source of the Brahmin effulgence for the Gyanis, desiring to merge into that effulgence, who is the Supreme Personality Godhead for the devotees, and who have accepted eternal servitorship, and who, for ordinary persons, is but another ordinary child. The cowherd boys, having accumulated the result of five activities for many lives, were able to associate in this way with the personality of Godhead. How can one explain their great fortune? May the original guru and the protector of so if you could just bear with me, I'm just gonna thank everybody who helped with everything that you're seeing here today. I'm going to begin with thanking Mother Hari Puja for helping and supporting me through the entire journey, year after year. You are constantly there in time of need, to guide me and help me get through the stressful situations that arise, always reminding us that with beautiful verses about the mood in which to make this offering. Thank you so much, Mother Hari Puja. Thank you, Mother Puja, for leading our temple and every vessel with great strength and vision. We couldn't do this without your support. Thank you to Vikram Prabhu for sponsoring this outfit that you see today. This year we had a new Ekadashi outfit sponsored. And thank you also to my sister and her family, Vanita, Nitin, Anya, Sanshna, Leela, for also sponsoring part of the outfit. Thank you to Mohit and Vrindavan for making the outfit. A very special thank you to Gojunama Prabhu and Vishnu Priya for sponsoring all the flowers for the garlands, vases, and for Shilpa Prabhu's Vyasasan. They do this every year for every festival. Without their steady, consistent, and very loving mood, this festival would not be the same. I want to thank all the temple donors, and a very special, really special thank you to Prema Manjari. She has been literally my right hand for everything. All the decorations that you see on the altar, she just took charge and made it come to life. She spent countless months, days, and hours working to make this beautiful offering. Each panel that you see over there on the altar, it was hand drawn and painted by her with her team of helpers. A very special thank you to Mother Kirtaniya, who was also Paramanjari's right hand. She was right beside Paramanjari in all the work that went into creating the beautiful altar. Thank you, Madhumati Maji, Aparna, Sumitra, Divya Radha, Janaki, Radha Guna, and Veda for helping also to paint. A very special thank you to Kunja Bihari, Rasamrita for helping cutting out all the boards and stretching the canvases, and to Shan Kishore Prabhu and Leela Kishore Prabhu. I want to say a special thank you to Govinda Mohini and Bansi Dari. If you can see, all the belts and ankle belts were handmade year after year. She's just there to do that. Thank you, Malini, Raghunath, Purushotama, Anuradha, Leela Shakti, Mohini for helping make the jewelry. Thank you again to Paramanjari Kirtaniya, Mother Parijata for making all the flower vases on the altar and for Shilpa, and with the help of Varshana, Chitra, Ananda Kishore, Nanditi Kishore, Govinda Mohini, and I'm sure there were other helpers. Please forgive me if I don't have everyone's names. Thank you to Mother Rasa for securing the rhinestones on all the chadars, and Varuna Prabhu Krishna for making the Varuni for Lord Balaram. Thank you, Mother Maji Madhurika, Divya, Janki for all the flower ornaments for Krishna Balaram, and Koti Chandra and Vijay Radha for helping decorate Krishna and Balaram. A very special thank you to Gandharvika for making all the cookies and stepping in actually at the very last minute to make the cupcake tower for Lord Balaram. Yesterday, Loka Sakshini, she was going to make a cake for Lord Balaram, but she actually got very sick, and I'm praying for her quick recovery. And I was looking for somebody to make a cake for Lord Balaram, and as I called some devotees, Gandharvika was already with unlimited services. She was just ready to make more cupcakes for Lord Balaram. So I'm really, really grateful for her steady and dedicated service. And then I spoke to Leela Shakti about making a cake, and she had been meditating about making a cake for Lord Balaram already when I called her. And that's because today is actually her birthday, and she wanted to make a cake for Lord Balaram on her birthday. So a special cake, yeah. Now for the temple room. I want to first begin by thanking Dashrath Prabhu for sponsoring all the temple room decorations, and also yesterday Chakravarti Sham's flower outfit. And I want to give a very, very special thank you to Krishna Kishore Prabhu. So here we are, day 5 of this festival. And he came to me with this vision a year ago, completely took charge of creating this beautiful 5-day festival. And I was talking to him about it. I'm just so grateful for the space that he created, which allowed all of us as an entire community to come together every day for the past 5 days to absorb our minds on Lord Krishna in so many ways. He created space for so many arts everybody to offer all their different arts, in the form of dance and plays and decorations and prashadam, and it's just been really, really wonderful. I'm really, really grateful. The temple room decoration spearheaded by Palika, Gopal Nayaka, Shama Mandli, and so many helpers. So Chandrika, Geeta, Ramani, Karthika, Christina, Nitai, Neela Manjari, Tulsi, Kishori, Srinagadi Dam, Kamala, Rai Kishori, Mohini, Leela Rani, Rajeshwari, Sachi, and Yamuna. Thank you so much for putting all this beautiful work into this space. We've had such a beautiful team working together to put on this festival, and I just want to thank everybody who served, and please forgive me if I forgot anyone's name. Thank you so much. And thank you to Aruna, who came and helped.
Manjali, we have to give a little special thanks to you. A big festival like this, because Balaram Jayanti is particularly special for our community, since we have Lord Balaram right here amongst us. So she did a magnificent job, and I know it's a big job. It takes a whole year, and it's not that easy operating with the Murtiwalas in India, actually. So she did a great job, and we're very proud of her for doing that. All right, I'm going to go quick. I just want to say special thanks to the feast sponsor for today. This is Amit and Kim Singh. Amit is the elder son of Shard Bihari Devidasi and Advaita Das. Devotees who understand the benefits of donating to Krishna are always anxious to have this service. You notice that Trivakram Tribolo sponsors the outfit every year. Vishnu Priya and Godruma try to get all the flowers, and Kim and Amit always want to sponsor the prasadam for this feast. So we very much appreciate them. He's been doing this for the last few years. It's a lot of expense to cook for 1,400 people, so it's no joke. And your superstars cooking the feast today are Dara Krishna Das, Kartik Das, Adikeshava Das, Jainatai Das, and Akuti Devi Dasi. The second devotion are very talented cooks who push through a very hot and hectic kitchen with beautiful attitude and camaraderie while they're doing it. Janika will oversee the cut up and the cleanup as he always does, so please encourage him by coming over anytime, especially like now, and again at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. to help. Tomorrow we dive right into prepping for Janmashtami, so we're not messing around. It's just one thing after the other here. We're very grateful to everyone who's already made contributions for our summer festivals. I want to encourage every single devotee in the community to give something. No amount is too small, but it is so good to give back to Krishna. You will never regret it, and you'll always appreciate it. Okay, so the schedule, let me just go through that real quick, what's left. We are going to do Julian Yatra tonight, so they'll be swinging for the last time this evening at the 6:30 arti for everyone who's wondering about that. Next, Rompad Swami Maharaj is going to give the class. Then we have the Abhishek by the temple pujaris. Bhajan's going on during that and continuing after that. Then 4:15 we come back. There's an arti in the temple room and the kirtan. We'll take little Krishna Balaram off the altar and procession around the temple room 3 times with the kirtan. Then we bring them over to the pavilion and the puppet show. Lord Balaram killing Dana will be happening, so bring your children and adults for that as well. And then the kids will be led over to the honey pot area down this way with the kirtan, and they'll break the honey pot, and we'll have a fiery yagya happening. The feast will be served, and then there's a big kirtan in the temple room that'll start at 6:30 and just go on and on. So all day long, wonderful kirtans, and we're on page. Sorry about that. And let me just tell you the practical things, reminding you how to park your car. Please observe obvious rules of handicap parking. Please leave all the front row of parking spaces for seniors or families with small children. Okay. It's just a very annoying thing when young people park up at the front that don't need to. We really need those spaces. Please be with your children at the temple the whole time. There are a lot of guests here. It's easy for a child to wander off. There's also danger around the peripheries. There's cars and tractors and stuff like that. Be careful. And the gift shop is open now until 1 p.m. Again, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. All men's and boys' clothing is 25% off until Janmashtami. Other sales coming Janmashtami day. We cook breakfast for children, so if you're bringing your kids over, the prasadam is for you. And somebody left their keys that says Trophy Nissan on the key ring. If anybody dropped keys with the key ring that says Trophy Nissan, I got them. You give a donation for Balaram.
Let's give a big honey bowl to Premananda Gaur Prabhu for heading up the cooking 3 days in a row.
What do you want to do? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Ya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Madhava Gopi Jana Bhalabha Girivara Dhari Gopi Jana Bhalabha Girivara Dhari Jasodanandana Brajajanarandana Jasodanandana Brajajanarandana Jamunatira Vanachadi Jamunatira Vanachadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Gopitana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopitana Vallabha Girivardhari Jasodanandana Brajajanarandana Jasodanandana Brajajanarandana Jamuna Hiravana Jamuna Hiravana Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Jayam Japad Paramahansa Paribhiracharya Astatarasata C. Modest Divine Grace is the Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Gaura Premanandi. Being in Alachua for Balaram Purnima has been a very special experience for me. You folks know how to celebrate. And one of the things I like about Alachua There's many things. One of the things is for certain days, I'm assigned a theme and speak on the theme because it's planned. Everything's planned, and so the plan for this morning, as you see from the altar and you heard this nice narration, is Krishna and Balaram herding the cows. So there's the image on the screen, Krishna and Balaram herding the cows. And I was told I have until 9 o'clock, but it's already 14 minutes before 9 o'clock. So what do I do? 9:30. There's no breakfast. Let's see how it goes. If I get wound up, it's going to be hard to stop. Let's see how it goes. There's a very nice description in Gopal Champu of Krishna's herding the cows in Vrindavan. When, according to Gopal Champu, when Krishna was just 3 years and a few months, it doesn't say how many, he was very, very inspired to herd the cows. So he nagged, children can do that sometimes with their parents. He nagged Nanda. He wanted to herd the cows. He loved the cows loved him, he wanted to herd the cows. Nanda was saying, no, the cows are so big, and you're so small, 3 years, several months. But Gopal was insisting. So Nanda Maharaj made a concession. You can herd the calves. So there's a description of the pastimes of Krishna herding the calves, part of which you heard. And during those years, there were a number of demons that Krishna dealt with. And at a certain point, that there's a transition between herding the calves and herding the cows. It's a beautiful description. But he entered into the Poganda age. That is, he moved from 5 to 6. And when he moved from 5 to 6, he started again with Nanda, begging him, I want to herd the cows, I want to herd the cows, I want to herd the cows. And this is just after the Aghasura demon, as you know, it's when for one year, Krishna had manifested himself as cowherd boys and calves to fulfill the desire of the mothers of the cowherd boy friends and the cows, so they would have Krishna as their son or calf for 1 year. And as you know, Balaram was absent during that particular day of the Aghasura demon being killed. And it wasn't because it was his birthday, but it was the nakshatra, when the moon was moving through the birth constellation of Balaram, that he was home for a festival. He missed the killing of Aghasura. And when the calves and the cowherd boys came back, they weren't the calves and the cowherd boys, they were Krishna, looking just like the calves and cowherd boys. For 1 year, Balaram couldn't detect, although he's omniscient. And how is that possible? We've discussed this. It's the Lord's Lila Shakti, according to our acharyas. Lila Shakti made it such that he didn't recognize. And then after nearly a full year passed, the curtain started to open and he started to see things that he didn't see before, and then he realized, oh, Krishna's performing this wonderful pastime. So it's just after that, the Aghasura demon, according to Gopal Champu, that Krishna started up again. I want to herd the cows, I want to herd the cows. So he moves into his 6th year, that's the Poganda year, Poganda age, and this is when they begin herding the cows. And Nanda Maharaj decides to have a festival. There's a festival in the Braja Dham where they have a festival commemorating the festival, a three-day festival Nanda Maharaj held to commemorate Krishna's beginning to herd the cows. Big festival. They do up a big. You do a big festival. They do a bigger festival. 3-day festival. And at the end of the 3-day festival, again, a very, very beautiful description of the anticipation of the forest birds and creepers and trees and lakes and monkeys and all the living entities really looking forward to Krishna coming. We hear, of course, how Krishna loves the residents of Vrindavan, but they're also residents of Vrindavan. And they love Krishna and Krishna loves them, and he's eager and they're eager. And his day begins. So the painting is Krishna's entering into the forest of Vrindavan. I'm going to pause a little bit, and as the going into the forest pastime carries on, there's another very beautiful description of Krishna's morning before he goes to herd the cows. All the residents in the forest, they're enthusiastically waiting as the sun begins to rise. Krishna's coming, Krishna's coming. The cowherd boys hurry up and do their morning duties and have their breakfast, and Mother Jasoda, being very attached to Krishna, she makes fantastic breakfast. She makes a little lunch for Krishna to carry with him, and all of the details, the bathing and she applying his tilak and making sure his turban is on right and adjusting his clothes, mothers. He takes 2 steps, he smiles, she takes 5 steps and wants to adjust his garland, and my mother have to go now. She reluctantly lets him go, and then another 2 steps, and she's a loving mother, too much loving mother. And the cowherd boys are, come on, let's go, come on, let's go. Loving exchange between Krishna and his dear friends, the cowherd boys. And the cows are mooing, moo, and so eventually they enter the forest. Now, when I think of a forest, it's like lots of trees, but the forest of Vrindavan has trees, so it's called the forest of Vrindavan, but it has lots of pasturing ground somewhere out there in the forest. And arm in arm, Krishna and Balaram are entering into the forest. And Balaram, of course, has his plow. Krishna, of course, has his flute. They're constant companions. And all the cowherd boys, they have their bugle horns. And they're singing and they're frolicking and they're doing what little boys like to do. The description is that when they herd the cows just follow them. In other words, they're not really herding cows, they're playing. The cowherd boys and the cows are happy to follow because they're attached to Krishna, transcendentally attached to Krishna. Here's Krishna blowing on his buffalo horn, Balaram enjoying Krishna's companionship, and they start interacting with the forest birds and animals and all the living entities along with each other. We heard the description of Krishna's he knows all languages. He can have conversation with the birds, not just with parrots. We can't do that, but because we can't do that doesn't mean Krishna can't do that. And they interact with the forest animals. You see in the background, the cowherd boys are imitating the deer as they run. Krishna is imitating the peacocks as they're getting ready to spread their peacock feathers. And sometimes on the left, this boy is getting ready to take flight, like the birds are getting ready to take flight. Krishna is imitating the frog, ready to jump from one rock to another rock. Balaram is imitating the posture of the peacock as he's getting ready to spread his fan. Sometimes they play blind man's bluff. At least that's what we call it when we were kids. Here it describes they were blindfolded. And then one cowherd boy that's blindfolded would be brought in front of another cowherd boy, and he was supposed to figure out who's that other gopa. And again, in this illustration, imitating the birds, imitating the forest creatures. In the foreground, there's two boys acting like carrier, and the third boy is being carried. Same as the description that we heard this morning. Very beautiful description. Sometimes they would swing on swings. Sometimes they would go to a well and make loud sounds. Sometimes they would say bad words. And the echo would come back, the bad words, and then they would laugh and laugh and laugh and make more sounds. You know, all of these narrations start with sometimes. So it wasn't repetitious. Sometimes, with a voice as deep as the rumbling clouds, he would call out with great affection the names of the animals who had wandered far off from the herd, thus enchanting the cows and the cowherd boys. Thus, sometimes he would call out the names of the animals by name, and there's also, sometimes he would call the cows by name by its flute. Many of you have been to Vrindavan, I'm sure. Those of you that haven't been to Vrindavan, I'm sure you'll go. And one of the celebrated places of Krishna's pastimes towards the end of the day is Ter Kadamba. And you all know the pastime, but I'll narrate it anyways. The Ter Kadamba pastime with Krishna calling the cows. Nanda Maharaj had a lot of cows. The common number that's given to us is 900,000 cows, which is a lot of cows. Moo. And at the end of the day, it was a practice. Krishna would climb up a kadamba tree, and ter means call, ter kadamba. He would call the cows by the names of the groups of the cows. Anybody that's been with Dinabandhu has heard this like so many times. He's really good at it. You know, the cows that have heads shaped like a mridanga, cows that are this color, cows that are that color, and he would call the groups by name by using his flute. And when they would just wait to hear their group's names being called, and they would together respond a loud mooing sound and move as quickly as they could to receive Krishna's call. Sometimes some cows would delay, so Krishna would call the particular cow by their name, playing upon his flute, and they would move and come, just waiting for that loving reciprocation with Krishna. Sometimes Krishna would cry out in imitation of the birds. Chakoras, Kraunchas, Chakrava, Bharadvajas, and peacocks. And sometimes he would run away with the smaller animals in mock fear of lions and tigers. And towards the afternoon, sometimes Balaram would become fatigued from all their playing. He would lie down, placing his head on one of the laps of the cowherd boys, and Krishna would come and massage his feet. Here's a BBT painting of Krishna massaging Balaram's feet as Balaram is lounging on the lap of one of the cowherd boys. Of course, it's a leela because he doesn't become fatigued, but it's a leela. as if he's becoming fatigued. Just like we heard in this morning's reading, this is a painting of stealing the lunch bag of one of the cowherd boys. In this case, looks like Madhu Mangal. And Krishna stole Madhu Mangal's lunch. And Madhu Mangal's running after the lunch. And then Krishna would toss the lunch to somebody else and to somebody else. And playing. Sometimes they would wrestle. Sometimes they would decorate themselves. Here's both Krishna and Balaram decorating themselves with flowers and peacock feathers. Some would sing, and all these wonderful activities in the guise of herding cows. And the cows weren't impatient. They were enjoying Krishna's enjoying, and they were very happy to be wherever Krishna was. Sometimes Krishna would become tired, and he would lie, same as with Balaram, with his lap on someone's lap, his head on someone's lap, sometimes soft twigs and buds, little bed for Krishna out in the forest, and one of the cowherd boys would massage his feet. Here's Balaram massaging Krishna's feet. Sometimes a very fortunate cowherd boy would fan Krishna. Again, speaking of their great fortune, fanning Krishna, massaging Krishna's shoulders. This is while they're having their lunch. There's a cowherd boy snatching something from Krishna's plate, very playfully. And sometimes Krishna would just lounge and play upon his flute for the pleasure of the cowherd boys. And this was their cowherding activity. So the cows are in the background, and they're very happy just being with Krishna and Balaram in their daily activity of herding the cows. It's some very beautiful paintings indicating the pleasure pastimes of Krishna and Balaram in their manner of taking care of the cows. One of the places that Dinabandhu took us, it's a kind of remote place. Maybe some of you have been there. If you've been with Dinabandhu, it's a place he likes. It's a place called Akshay Vat. Akshay Vat. I mean, it's a banyan tree that's really, really huge. And the way Dinabandhu describes this particular banyan tree was so huge that one of its branches extended on the other side of the river Jamuna. So the cowherd boys would climb on the tree, climb all the way into the area where the Akshay Vat so they could sit and have their lunch. And sometimes, rather than traveling on the Akshay Vat, Krishna would expand his flute, and they'd get on the flute like a boat and cross the river Jamuna and go have their lunch. It's a very remote place, and therefore it's very calm. Usually, these days, particularly, Vrindavan isn't so calm. It's overpopulated with visitors, not overpopulated. There are many, many visitors that go to Vrindavan to enjoy hearing and seeing the temples and the kirtan and the katha, and taking the benefit, the spiritual benefit of being in the holy Dham. So during the announcements, one of the messages I heard were you are very fortunate here in Alachua that you not only is observing Balaram Jayanti, but Balaram's on your altar. So the 5-day festival and the whole day festival today is just focusing on Krishna Balaram because they're inseparable. They're inseparable. And particularly celebrated in the pastimes of Krishna Balaram is their pastimes in Vrindavan together. And loving exchanges all the while. Now, when I was meditating on how to take the half hour that I thought I had, I thought I should end at this point and see if there's some discussion. So my experience in visiting Alachua this time, the discussion takes much longer than the class. And it's nice. So if anybody would like to add something or ask something or discuss something, I'm wide open. I see a number of hands up already. Your hand up went first. Well, hang on. Here's the microphone.
All right. So
Don't shout. Thank you.
All right. So anyway, like when you were talking about like how Vrindavan nowadays is kind of crowded, you kind of also forgotten that some of the people who are kind of responsible for the overcrowding of Vrindavan include some smarta Brahmins and Babajis who would try to scam visitors out of their money.
Yeah, that happens. Next. In the back.
Hare Krishna, thanks for the wonderful description. I heard one pastimes as to why Krishna was so eager to start herding the cows,
Ah,
that when he was herding the cows, he had to be nearby. So every half an hour, Mother Yashoda would go on top of the palace and look around, make sure she sees him. That way, he can't do anything what he really wants to do. So he was eager to get to the cows so that he can go deeper in the forest where Mother Yashoda can't get to him. Thank you.
Krishna is very clever. Yes, someone else in the back.
I think it's the Govinda Lamrita. It's stated that when Krishna plays his flute, then everything would become stone. You
Yes.
see, the rocks would melt, the river would froze, the deer would become stone. The animals, they just open their mouth and look at Krishna, and they just can't move. They're just like super wonderful.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, I heard that the Falganda Calvary Boys, when they were finally released after a year from captivity by Lord Brahma, Lord Balaram saw them coming back home, and it had been exactly a year, so again, it was his birthday. And some of the Calvary Boys said to their parents, today Krishna killed an asura, and they described how amazing it was. And the parents were completely missed out from just having Krishna as their child for an entire year. And they said, yes, that was a year ago. And the Calvary Boys were very astonished that,
The mom
a
and
year
dad,
ago, it just happened today.
their parents didn't even miss them. Because their parents were with the Krishna facsimile. But my this is a detail. If somebody has a different understanding, please volunteer. My understanding is this pastime of Agasura did not take place on Balaram's birthday, but it took place on the moon passing through the nakshatra of Balaram's birth. And therefore it wasn't Balaram Jayanti, it was a festival that he was absent from being with the cowherd boys because of that. That's my understanding. Yes. You're keeping you busy with the microphone.
So there are three sets of cowherd boys. The original coward boys, the Maya coward boys that Brahma took to his cave, and Krishna wanted the cows to coward boys. So what happened to the original coward boys?
You probably have the answer because I've never heard this description.
Well, it had to be three sets because it was a Maya set of cows to coward boys that Brahma stole. And then there was the expansions of Krishna as the coward boys and cows. So what happened to the original coward boys?
You'll have to answer that question because I've not heard this description. I'm giving you the same response. Pran, do you know anything what he's talking about?
It's in Vaishnava Prasad. There, I remember. I don't know if it's Jiva Goswami or Sanatana Goswami. They mix both commentary in one. I don't remember exactly who said it, but I remember hearing that one says that Krishna expanded, we all know. The other sets are the eternal associate with the Shiva. Because by the definition, Shana Adarshimata Dina Sada Saha Viharina Krishna Sakshat Pitajurga. So they, even for a moment, they don't forget Krishna. So how is possible 1 year pass? So that's why he, on that sloka base, he gave that the Maya created one, that Brahmaji, because Nitya Siddha devotees cannot be touched by Brahma or any demigod or anyone. They are always with Krishna. So they are just illusion created just to put him into trap, that he is actually his boy, that he thought is his father, is not his father. So Brahma felt confident. But later on, after he realized that he was into illusion, not that he put into illusion to Krishna. So just to accommodate there. So answer to that one.
In answer to his
that
question.
What happened to the
Nitya Siddha ones.
Nitya Siddha one? They Shana Adarshimata Dina. For them, it would take a moment. They didn't even realize that how Yogamaya covered them just for a moment. For us, it's 1 year. But for them, it was not 1 year. It was a Shana. Shana is 1
Okay, yeah,
second.
yes.
That's how they did not feel any lack of time.
But, so where were they during that 1 second?
Covered by the Yogamaya.
But where
Brahmaji did not even touch them.
where were they? That's his question.
Over
Where?
there.
Where?
The picnic area, but it was not interrupted. 1 year passed. Because when Brahmaji came back, the scenery refolded again, that he saw that he's eating with all the covered boys. For us, it's 1 year, but he saw the same scenery. And then he saw the second scenery that he expanded as a Vishnu Narayan Murti. So it's not any confusion, it's clear.
I'm glad you're not confused.
Maharaj, I wanted to say also that up to Gopastami, what you narrated is beautiful. But after Gopastami, the herding cows are the ticket to meet the gopis. That's a Vishwacharya.
Uh-huh. So this narration that we heard, that he was anxious to herd the cows so he could not be under Yasoda's supervision so much. So he could be away and meet the gopis and do other things.
As far as she can see, Krishna can go. The whole purpose of Gopastami is that Mother Yashoda will not let him go beyond her eye perception.
Okay, nice, nice. Right on the theme of this morning's discussion. Okay, so I think we'll end. Srila Prabhupada ki, Balaram Jayanti ki, Gaur Pimanandi.